Hey, what's up everybody? It's your girl, Craw, and I'm back again with a new Terraria challenge. We're going to be playing Terraria using only the Summoner class. Now, this is the first time I've actually played Summoner since whips were introduced, so let's just get straight into it. Now, we're off to a good start in the world. I've already died a couple of times, and now this ghost filled up with my money is hunting me down the ends of the earth. He just won't leave me alone, and then two of them show up, so I just try to leave somewhere else, but the bastard floats his way to me no matter what. So instead of showing you this brutal and boring beginning, we're just gonna do a small little montage. After many deaths, I decided that I need to die to progress. I built a small underground farm for Abigail's flower, and then I head down into the mines for a little bit of platinum. I find a nice little mushroom biome that supplies me with some accessories that I already have. Then the traveling merchant appeared, selling me these cute little devil horns, so I obviously bought them and equipped them immediately. I craft some platinum upgrades, and then now it's time to AFK for Abigail's flower, so I'm just going to give you guys a flashing lights warning here and on the screen. Oh, hey, we got one. Okay, second flower. Now that I have an actual weapon, I go ahead and break that 200 HP barrier and head over to the jungle when... So I did what any reasonable person would do and completely ignored it and started grinding for some materials. After dying, I decided to clean up my graveyard and head back down to get the job done, but as I died, another natural Eye Cthulhu spawn happens, and as you're gonna watch, I'm very prepared for this. So prepared, in fact, that I died very, very quickly. Very, very quickly. So after dying, I craft my very first whip of the playthrough, the Snapthorn. This thing's super good. This thing's like so good. It's actually kind of insane how good this thing is. I use it to go straight down into the snow biome to farm up some Flink's fur and craft my new summon and my first piece of summoner armor. Now that I'm actually prepared, I go ahead and summon the Eye of Cthulhu for a real fight this time with my two Flinkses and my viney little whip. Now the fight starts off great and I get him to phase 2 super fast. The Eye of Cthulhu is not really a problem in general in expert mode for me, but this fight just really nailed that home. This is probably one of the easiest eye fights I've ever had. We take on the eye, I grab my new Shield of Cthulhu, and I chug a gravity potion to go look for some Sky Islands. Now on the first one I find a Star Fury, no thanks, and on the second one I find a shiny red balloon, which will be very useful later. I decided that it was time to head over to the corruption and just start blowing the place up. I pop the first 3 shadow orbs and summon the long worm himself, in which I get him down to half before getting absolutely destroyed. So for the next attempt, I blow up a large area, make a small but very useful arena for the fight, and with just that little bit of extra prep, and with the help of our snowballs and whip, we take out the big old boy and grab ourselves some damage reduction. Then down in the mines, I find a spider cave, which will be very useful later in hard mode. I went mining for some obsidian and cobwebs so I could craft our first full set, the obsidian armor. And then the traveling merchant blessed us with the next piece of the fit, the hunter's cloak. Back down in the caves, I find our last life crystal, head back up to craft some obsidian sim potions, go straight to mine some hellstone and craft our final summon of pre-hard mode, the imp staff, as well as a molten pickaxe for later. Now over at the dungeon, I have to clear out some of this sand to prevent these sandstorms from showing up, but I build a decently sized arena, and then we get ready to take on Old Forehead for the first time. And now the fight starts off immediately with a horrible showcase of my movement, but we get both of those hands down and only the head remains, but that poor movement from earlier really bites me in the ass when I get smacked down by a flying skull. To cope with the loss, I head down to the jungle to fight the queen bee, which I do accidentally summon while making the platform. But the primary goal of this fight is to get some bee armor, as well as the witch doctor, who will sell us the pygmy necklace, which just gives us an extra summon, which will come very handy. We get rid of the queen bee, but we can only craft 2 pieces of the armor, so we run it back and she doesn't stand a chance. Like, get fucking absolutely destroyed. She fucking sucks. Crafting that final piece of bee armor, I go ahead and equip the full set and head back over to Forehead for round 2. This fight starts off pretty good, and then I'm dead. Once more, to cope with the loss of Forehead, I craft a goblin battle standard to summon the goblins. Take them out with no issues at all, and then I spend 2 hours looking for the goblin. So, cool, thanks. I go ahead and craft our new boots, go mining for a cloud in a bottle, create our blue horseshoe balloon and some tiger climbing gear, and finally, with all of our new upgrades, we head back for the final round with the old Forehead. And now, immediately, you'll notice that this fight starts off way better with my new movement accessories. And they come in clutch so many times during this fight. We take out his hands easily and just lay Snapthorn into this boy's thick skull. Down in the dungeon, our very first chest supplies us with a cobalt shield, so all that's left to do while down here is grind up some skeletons for their bods and turn them into our final whip of pre-hardmode, the Spinal Tap. Reforge my new whip to legendary and the imp staff to mythical, and we head down to hell to spend a very, very long time building a bridge. Once the bridge is finished, we go straight for the wall of flesh, and usually I have a really hard time with this fight, but it goes so well this entire time. I destroy the Hungries, do so much damage with the whip, and our imps are just blasting them from behind. So, you know, for once in my life, I managed to take down the wall of flesh on our first try. Huh. Okay, no problem, fine, we'll take him out on the second try. Okay, the third try. Damn it. But finally, on the fourth try, we take down the wall of flesh and head into hard mode. Unfortunately, we get a warrior emblem from the bag, so we'll just have to meet our friend again soon. But for now, I head back down to the old spider cave and get grinding. With our new hard mode armor equipped and our spiders at the ready, we head over to the corruption to smash some altars. We go mine some cobalt, craft a pickaxe. Mine some orichalcum, craft a pickaxe. Mine some adamantite, craft a forge, and then we absolutely decimate the wall of flesh again, supplying us with a summoner emblem. I decide to take him on one more time, and he truly blesses us with a firecracker whip. Come back to the jungle, I start prepping for Plantera, bulbs, life fruit, you know, the whole thing. And in our last playthrough, I built a crazy house. So for this one, it only seemed right to build some crazy arenas. Once night hits, however, I decide that I am built different and I'm ready to take on the destroyer. I was not. Go find the shimmer pool, throw in a life crystal, get that nice little passive upgrade. And the next night, I summon up the blood moon now that my arena's finished, and I start fishing up a storm to take on the dreaded Nautilus. The dread Nautilus. Now this fight's pretty crazy. I decided not to cheese him like most would, and it almost got me killed. He killed my nurse and then nearly killed me. I mean, I did some crazy dodge work here, but he still got me down to like a single hit point. But luckily, I was able to take him down and get one of the best weapons in the game, the Sanguine Staff. With the nice little strong, I decided to take on the twins, who almost killed me instantly, and then I ran away, which made them despawn. So the next night, the real attempt begins. I obviously focused on Spasmatism here, flying around as projectiles until we get him to phase 2, where, because of the insane range of the Sanguine Staff, I can just avoid his flames and deal super consistent damage. So once he's down, I just shred away Retinizer's life, and we can claim victory over our first mechanical boss. I go ahead and craft our next whip, the Durandal, and I immediately go for the Destroyer once more. Our second attempt at the big mechanical worm went very, very well, right up until it didn't. But in the same night, I decided to take him on for round 3, baby. We show him the works, absolutely destroying him, and officially taking out our second mechanical boss. Only one more to go. And so, the night after our victory, I decided to go straight for Skeletron Prime himself, targeting his limbs with ease thanks to the bats at my disposal, and once he's just ahead, it's absolutely over. I turn him into my next dinner plate, craft our set of hallowed armor, and I have some butterfly dust, so I take out a wyvern and craft some upgraded wings as well. Head down to the jungle, and I immediately spot a Plantera bulb. Take her on right there, not wasting any time. Lead her down to the arena, and the first phase flies by without a singular problem. However, once we hit phase 2, things started to go, well, they didn't go so well. They did not go so hot. It was not a fun time. We kind of got destroyed. And after a whole lot of waiting, our second Plantera bulb sits in our little plant area. I buff up again, summon the plant queen herself, getting her all the way down to phase 2 again before, yep, I died again. Out of pure anger, I destroy all of the natural walls in my arena, and I massively expand our plant farm. But I decided that I wasn't taking any chances on this next fight. I make my arena the size of fucking Texas, like any real American does. I'm blowing that shit up, baby. And as soon as I find that next Plantera bulb, I know there was no shot in hell she was making out of this one. I lead her all the way back to the arena, absolutely destroy her first phase, and with no natural walls to grab onto, and plenty of room to dodge her claws, the Queen Plantera didn't stand a single chance. We take her out calmly and swiftly, and I open her bag to grab my key of progression. And surprisingly, grace for the pygmy staff, which, while not super special, will save my ass later, so just you wait. Yeah, so I guess taking out Plantera like that filled me with some kind of confidence, because I decided that I was just going to destroy Golem with no platform or anything. I did not. Up on the surface, I built a gigantic platform for the Empress of Light, and this is my first actual attempt at fighting this boss. I've never done it before, and we'll just say that the first attempt did not give me a whole lot of hope. And my second attempt filled me with even less, so good start. After failing miserably at the Empress, I go back down for Golem. This time, I get him down to phase 2, but then I just start flying into his lasers for some reason, and then he decides to hop his big ass right on top of me and kill me instantly. But I was determined to take out Mr. Fister here, so determined in fact that I still lost. Third attempt at Empress got me thinking, maybe what I need is a different summon. So I head back down to Golem's arena with a brand new resolve and a whole bunch of little dudes with spears. Yeah, that's right. Pygmy Staff's time to shine, and surprisingly, alongside some decently impressive movement from myself, those little dudes went fucking crazy. Like, those guys are insane. I finally take out Golem, we get a pick saw from our first bag, and then I take him out again just to BM the guy. Right after the fight, I head over to the dungeon to get some long overdue upgrades, and let me just say, I get an absolutely insane amount of drops in the short time I'm in the dungeon. Got that magnet sphere, and look, this skeleton dropped a key brand and a wisp at the same time. Almost immediately after, I get what I came for, being the Morningstar Whip. With our new insanely strong whip in hand, freshly reforged to legendary, I shove Durandal in our chest and go to take on Martian Madness. Now, I started the recording a little late into this, but luckily the Martian ship I was fighting decided to be very, very nice and dropped me the Xeno Staff, which I will be using until the end game. I head over to the jungle and grab the last 2 life fruit I need, one for max HP and the second to throw in our Shimmer Pool for the Aegis fruit. And now, the most important event for summoners, the Pumpkin Moon. I'm mainly here for 2 things, that being the Necromantic Scroll and enough spooky wood to craft our in-game armor. The Raven Staff is also here, as well as the Dark Harvest, but I don't really plan on using the Raven Staff, and I already have a better whip. We get all the way to wave 17 on our first attempt at the moon, and it supplied us with so much loot, I had to take 2 trips to get it all. Alongside the Witch's Broom and a Spooky Twig for a wing upgrade, I did not have enough wood to make the full Spooky set, so I go ahead, craft the Papyrus Scarab, and dive right back in, craft our in-game armor, and with that in-game armor, our Infinite Flight Broom, and it absolutely insane weapon combo, I decided I wanted to take on Duke Fishron. I want to chance at his wings, and I'm not very good at the Duke Fishron fight, especially in expert mode, but luckily I managed to scrape out a victory on our first attempt, but we didn't get the wings, so I did have to go back in, losing to phase 3 multiple times. I make a long asphalt platform in the Hallow, and decide that it is now time to defeat the Empress. With my broom and the nurse being set up for some pretty risky heals, as well as my increased range, we take out the Empress of Light very easily. And open her bag to reveal that I just got super lucky. Our first attempt wielded the best whip in the entire game, the Kaleidoscope. And I spent all of my money reforging it to Legendary. Off of that high, I go straight for the Lunatic Cultist, where I fuck up hitting the wrong clone, which gets me absolutely destroyed. Dragon decimates me, clone decimates me. Lunatic Cultist is never an easy fight for me, even though it's not very hard. I go die to Duke Fishron some more, I deal with these invading pirates, and I go for a few Daytime Empress attempts, which did not go super well. I don't know her pattern enough to consistently dodge every attack, and I definitely make a lot of mistakes during the fight. So I decided that I'll have to do it some other day and go get my revenge on the Lunatic Cultist. Making sure I'm extra careful not to hit any clones, I take out the cultist with relative ease, summoning the pillars into the world. With my broom and my powerful loadout, I focus down the closest pillar, which just happens to be the Stardust pillar. And with its defeat, I go to craft our final summon, the Stardust Dragon Staff, and make quick work of the Nebula pillar shortly after. With my new summon in hand, I go take one more shot at Daytime Empress, and, well, okay, maybe not this playthrough, but I will be back for you, lady. I go and take out the Solar Pillar with surprising ease, but before I take on that last pillar, I make a long platform with a house for the nurse for some easy heals during the fight with Moonlord. I go take out the final pillar and begin to prepare for impending doom. As the last flash of the screen hits, I buff, summon my Stardust Dragon, and just look at how it melts the HP of the eyes. It does so much damage, it's so crazy. Like, I quickly take care of all 3 eyes with this insane damage. I crack open his core, I quickly teleport back for a safety heal, and just, oh my, just look at that damage, it's crazy. It's so insane. And as the core gets low, I head back for one more heal. And with that, it's over. The ease of the fight aside, the joy of beating Terraria using only the Summoner class washes over me as the credits roll. And I have to say, super fun. I will be back for Daytime Empress, 100%. I'm getting that done at some point. The next video I have planned is not going to be Terraria, but I'm going to put a poll down below for the next Terraria class that I do. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the Summoner playthrough I just did. Love you guys. Bye.